everyone, my name is Shai Arnold, and I am the founder of For Grieving Daughters. Welcome to our podcast. With For Grieving Daughters podcast, we talk about all things of grieving, healing, and becoming your best self as a motherless daughter. I am excited to talk about this episode in the perspective of unlearning childhood trauma and relearning parenting as a grieving daughter. So, For Grieving Daughters is a nonprofit where we provide support to women and young girls who've lost their moms. I started this organization 3 years ago because I wanted to be around a community of like minded women who had the same journey and experience. We provide programming support to young girls the ages of 10 to 21. I was 10 years old when I lost my mom, actually 20 years ago today. And so I know that navigating the journey, even if you have maternal figures, mentors, family members, can still be tough. And one of the things that I thought that as I was going through, and I wish I had, was someone who was around my age who understood the perspective. So now we get community of girls together who can support each other and who can be poured into from a mentoring perspective. So for Grieving Daughters, we started simply with the idea of having a motherless daughters brunch 4 years ago, and that is the week of Mother's Day, and it's to bridge the gap between grief and community, and to celebrate, because at the end of the day, although our mothers are gone, we still are here and we have life and we have legacies to create on their behalf, and for our lives. And so it's a weekend of celebration, so it's not so hard for us. And then 3 years later, I found that there was an incredible demand. There was girls who needed support, and that's when we officially became a nonprofit. So one of the things I want to talk about first is, in honor of my mom's 20th year death anniversary, we are doing our first campaign and fundraiser, which is called Vision 2020. So we are trying to raise, and we will raise $20,000 within the next year to provide support to our Yvonne Legacy Scholarship at Hilbert College, helping a young girl of color navigate the college experience, and not only having the support financially, but also the emotional and academic support. So shout out to our partner at Hilbert. Also, we are providing support throughout the senior year for girls, whether that's college applications, prom, senior dues, senior fees, moving into their dorm rooms. We provide all of that programming support, and we could not do it without our generous donators. So we ask that you continue to make donations to our organization. We thank everybody for always volunteering with us when we do different things with the girls. So super excited for where we're going. Next year is our 5th year of the Motherless Daughters Brunch, and we are doing a gala. So continue to tap into us. And if you are not local in the Buffalo, New York area, continue to join us on this journey as we are expanding outside of our footprint, and you'll learn more about that later. But for today, we are going to talk about all things mothering. In the last episode, I shared really what was the pivotal point of me starting to grieve and to go through the journey of healing. And that was when I became a mom. My son is an incredible young man. He is an entrepreneur. He is a third grader. And he was my lifeline. And so he truly has saved my life. But what I realized is, although I was excited to become a mom at a very unexpected time, I didn't realize that my grief has shown up in how I parent and how I needed to unlearn some things and really create the vision of what I wanted parenting to look like and what I wanted our family to look like. And so he is the first guest on our podcast. And I'm excited to have Mr. Building with BJ himself here to join us. And we're going to have a raw conversation, an honest conversation. And if you know him, you know him. And if you don't, I just want to bring a little bit into like why I started this work, how it has truly impacted me, and how I've been accountable to the journey of healing and turning pain into purpose so that I can serve others. So BJ.
Hi, Shy.
Don't hi shy me.
Okay. Hi, Shy, and thank you for having me here. And I am happy to be here. So, what kind of questions would you like to ask me?
Thank you for being here. It's a pleasure to have you. Loosen up. Loosen
Okay.
up.
I am.
Don't be so nervous.
I'm not nervous.
Okay, be confident, brave,
I
courageous.
am. I am. I am.
Okay. So the first question I want to ask, I'm gonna do a little icebreaker with you.
Okay.
What is your favorite thing about me as a mom?
Now you take care of me.
I'll take care of you.
What's the whole point?
That's the whole point of parenting. You think so?
Of parenting? Of course I think so.
Okay.
I did not think that.
What is something you wish I did better?
Let me can't go places to watch stuff.
Yeah, so as any parent knows, our first job is to, besides loving our children, is to protect them. So I am a stickler about the environments I let BJ in, where I even go. And I just really attribute that to, like, I just don't want him exposed to things he's not supposed to be exposed to. And so that is also a little bit about a childhood trauma because, like, my sister raised me and she was very protective too in terms of the environments I went in. And I didn't like it either, just like he doesn't. But I get older and I appreciate that because you really just want to protect your children. So BJ, that was a good icebreaker. So the one thing you love about me and like about me is that I take care of you. What I have to do better is providing a balance of how I let you go places or where I let you go places. Um, so we talk sometimes about Grandma Yvonne, right?
Oh, there now.
Yeah, we talk about Grandma Yvonne. And sometimes you're sad about it, and sometimes you ask me questions. And you've seen a lot of the work that I do for Grieving Daughters. And do you understand why I do the work I do?
Yes, I do.
Why?
Because for Yvonne. For Yvonne.
For Grandma Yvonne?
Uh-huh.
For her legacy?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. When it's the holiday time, we've had conversations about how I get really sad during the holiday time. And sometimes seasonal depression will show up for me. And 2 years ago, BJ made a comment to me that he didn't like the holidays because I didn't want to decorate the house. And if you know BJ, you know he is the life of the party. If he could party from the time he wake up to the time he go to bed, he will do so. And so, although in my heart I love like Christmas and the holidays and I love gift giving, but in our home it wasn't probably as joyous, and I felt like I had to find the balance to understanding that holiday times are about family and gathering, but then on the flip side, I don't have that. And then, but how do I create that for the family I do have? And so last year was the first year that I did something called the Holiday Healing Series, where we had a workshop that talks about how you navigate the grief during the holiday time. So, how do you feel about the holidays?
I feel that it's joyful and happy.
What do you feel like you wish I would do different during the holiday times, like Christmas or Thanksgiving?
I would have to say that Christmas, Thanksgiving, I would have to say that I know you eat the dinners, just that you don't spend that time celebrating them. It doesn't feel like that. And on Halloween, when we do our church skating event, you never skate. Like you're just sitting down watching me.
So you don't feel like I'm present. Like I'm present because I'm near, but I'm not like engaged and present.
Like you're not even like doing the things that specificate the holidays.
Special. Yeah. So that's something that I'm working through and working on. The one thing I always say is like we get to create the lives that we want and to rewrite your story or rewrite your vision. And I'm doing it in real time. I swear, I feel like I'm rebranding my life just in different areas, not even related to this work. Because you really, when you unlock that power, you really, really realize that like you are a dope individual and you can tap into that and create the life of your dreams. Um, Another question I have for you, BJ, around parenting is how do you feel? I know you've like we've had private conversations about you wish you had the opportunity to meet your grandma. Um, if it's one thing you wish you could do with your grandma, like what would that be?
Uh, spend Thanksgiving with her.
Spend Thanksgiving with her.
But can I ask you questions now? Hmm? Can I ask you questions now?
Are they gonna be nice ones?
Yes, of course.
Make sure they're respectful.
Here's this icebreaker. How did you feel when Yvonne passed away?
Stop calling her Yvonne. Call her grandma Yvonne.
But it's an icebreaker. Are you gonna
That
answer?
was a heavy icebreaker.
Not?
I'll tell the truth. I have probably never shared this story on, especially on this platform, but my mom was sick prior to having me, um, and she had made a decision to still have me, even when the doctors had told her not to. And I've shared openly why she was sick and how she got sick, and I'll share more at a different date with some other people. But she was sick. She chose to still have me. I was deemed somewhat a miracle baby, if you know my whole story, because back in the 90s, like there really wasn't a cure the way it is now for this particular disease. And my mom was sick my whole life. Like I seen her be sick. Whether that was bed bound, whether that was she didn't feel good, she didn't need additional services. So there was a village who took care of me between my father and my sister, other family members in my village. And so my father had passed away first, and then a couple of months later, my mom had passed away. And so my mom, prior to her passing, I had already transitioned to live with my sister and her family, for a variety of reasons. And it was just a better quality of life that would be offered. So it was a sacrifice that my sister had made. And it was an agreement between her and my mom. And so on the weekends, we would go visit my mom. And one particular weekend, my nephew and I left from visiting my mom, and that night it was a weird weekend. Like it was just weird the whole weekend. But our exchange, we had left, and it's a Sunday night, and she had passed away. They were able to resuscitate her and bring her back, and so then she went to the hospital. And so I went to school the next day, and coming out of school, this is the part where things get blurry. I don't remember if like I came home from school the next day, like Monday, and she was fine, or if I came home on Tuesday. But either way I go, that part's blurry. But what I do remember is getting off the elevator, leaving school to go to the hospital to see her, getting off the elevator. I will never forget. That's the reason why I don't like hospitals. I don't go to ECMC, but I got off the elevator. Her room was right across from the elevators. And as my sister, my nephew, and I walked off the elevator, we walked into her room, and she was deceased. And a friend of hers, a family friend, who still to this day checks in on me. And I think that's so important. Like, and that's why I do this work with the girls, because everybody like sends their condolences. Everybody says they're here for you, and then the girls get older, and like these people disappear. But my mom has had some solid ones who still stayed around. And so he said one of my mom's best friends that was a male, she was waiting on you. Um, and so yeah, that's the story.
Wow. I did not expect that. Okay, another
Any
question.
lighter questions?
Okay, I'll give you a lighter question. How did you feel having Bruce as your nephew?
Great, I guess. It was so my sister, shout out to her. She does
Shout out to me.
she also is operating in her purpose, doing things for children who has autism, being an advocate in that space as a parent of a child with autism. But she raised me with her son, and so we were pretty close in age. We are pretty close in age, so it was more so like being raised with like a little brother. It really wasn't like he was fine. He was a cool individual, but it was like being raised with a little brother.
Okay. Okay, so I need to ask you about a question about me.
Okay, well, this is the last question. So,
How many surgeries did I have
how
as a
many
baby?
surgeries did you have as a baby?
And up to 8.
I'm not sure how that's related, but you have had like 4 surgeries. So that's another thing I'll talk about. Like, I had him unexpectedly. Well, I guess
When you were 21 or
Yep.
22.
Nope, 21.
Oh, 21?
So 21.
21.
What'd
Let
you
me do something for me.
Okay. So I had him when I was 21, going through grad school. Well, I had just finished I was going through my senior year of college and got accepted into grad school. I found out I was pregnant at the same time. Had a very traumatic experience being pregnant, and had him. Then I went to school right away after having an emergency C-section. 2 weeks later, I was in school. So, you kick into survival mode. You do what got to be done. So again, talking about grief, it triggered me because although I had a support system, it's just not the same when you don't have your mom there. It's conversations you want to have, and I struggle with vulnerability and trust. I've gotten better. I'm in therapy, but yeah, it's conversations you want to have. It's decisions you made that probably wasn't the best. And you just sometimes moms clean it up, and so that's when I think I struggle with postpartum depression, and it was not only attributed to navigating all of these experiences, but it was also not having my mom. And at that time, I didn't put the 2 and 2 together until I had went to my first therapy session after having a child. And yeah, grief showed up. So, any other question?
One more, and that's it?
No.
Okay. Is it the end of this episode?
Okay. So, we're going to end the episode by saying, what is one thing you wish your mother would have taught you? So that is for our guests. But for you, what is one thing you wish I would teach you?
One thing I wish you would teach me is that you would teach me how to get some money and get a job as an 8-year-old.
Well, you
can't. No, actually, I want you to teach me how to skateboard, actually.
Okay. So Brenton wants me to teach him how to skateboard. Maybe that'll be a bonding experience.
You'll get a skateboard for Christmas.
You'll get a skateboard for Christmas if you behave. Okay. But I'll teach you how to get money, and I'll teach you how to manage it, which is the more important part. And you don't need to get a job. You're 8. But what you can do is focus on your business and building a business that can then ultimately provide jobs for others. Yeah. So thank you for tuning in. And on next episode, we will have Miss Adriana Pierce, who is a child mental health counselor for October, which is October is Depression Awareness Month. And we'll talk about how children navigate grief as well as how you can navigate preparing for the holiday season.